Hi, I'm Judy Morano, and welcome to the show. Today we have Daisy Dodge with us. Daisy is a collage artist and painter, and we'll be discussing her work as well as her time that she'll be spending in the studio around the corner. So hello, Daisy.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here.
Good, good. So Daisy, you are not from Brewster, and I know that, but I'd like you to tell us where you're from and a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I'm a Midwestern girl at heart. I'm born and raised in Michigan. Went to college in Ohio at Columbus College of Art and Design, and then I moved back to Michigan to Minnesota, and then landing out here in New York. So I've been all around, but Midwestern at heart for sure.
And how did you end up in New York?
For a job opportunity, so it brought me out here. As a Midwestern girl, I never even thought New York was an opportunity for me. It seemed so big and compared to where I was from, but this is where I landed, and this is where I'm happy to be.
And you've gotten used to it, and do you go
I'm
back?
a New Yorker now. No,
You
I'm
are.
a New Yorker.
You
Yes,
are a
I've
New Yorker.
adopted it. Yes.
Okay, good. Do you go back at all? Do you have family? in the
Absolutely. My
Midwest?
whole family's there, actually, so I go back regularly and visit with them, but always happy to come back home to New York.
Good, good. Education-wise, I know you're an artist. What was your background in education?
So after girls prep high school, I went down to Columbus, to the Columbus College of Art and Design down the street from Ohio State. I'm a Wolverine, not a Buckeye, and and took up advertising there, but their curriculum was very well-rounded, so every artist there had fine arts as well as commercial arts, so I have a strong background in figure drawing and painting, which you'll see a little later as well, and they also encouraged us to explore lots of different things, which kind of pushed me in this direction. But my actual degree is in advertising, which I do not do.
That's interesting. That's interesting. Briefly, what do you do when you're not working on art?
I do product design, so I work in costume development and run a division of costumes for a local company, for a nationwide company, I should say.
Oh,
so
that's great.
yeah,
That's
lots of
terrific.
fun.
Very creative. Everything you do is very creative.
That's right. Yep. My career has been in product development, from children's toys and activity products to stationery products, gift items, and party goods, and now costumes.
Wow.
Yes.
Run the gamut of that.
That's right.
Well, again, I mentioned you're going to be at the studio for the month
That's right.
of
June.
June.
Yep.
Your opening is the first Friday of the month.
Correct.
And you'll be displaying both kinds of work, but I'd like to focus a little bit on your collage work first.
Sure. Yeah.
Because I find it fascinating.
Thank you.
So, how did you get started in collage?
You know, it started with a junk drawer, to be honest.
We all have one of
Yeah,
those.
we all have one of those. And, you know, going through it and getting that hand-me-down jewelry from my mom and things that I really wouldn't wear, you know, a pair of earrings that she doesn't wear, but they're too old for me. And I just kind of started collecting this stuff because you don't want to throw it away,
Right.
And one day I just started kind of playing with it on the table and assembling it into this design. And I thought, this is kind of interesting. I wonder what I could do with this. So my first piece was actually, I made a lamp out of all old earrings, and
cool.
it kind of got me started in this. And I've been doing this now for 20 years and kind of perfected my skill and craft, and I've kind of moved on a little bit and added different things to it. And you know, it's kind of interesting how work just naturally evolves, right?
Yeah.
So now this piece here, you can see it's not just jewelry. There's a portion of that in here. It's antique items. There are little toys and pins and different things, and I'm a professional junk collector, so
I'm just thinking all the people that are watching this going, I have a junk drawer. I can do this.
That's right. And people come up to me now. I collect my things from everywhere. I buy lots of things on eBay, so I'll buy like a 5-pound bag of junk. And that's what I Google junk, right? I'm looking for junk. And then I get it, and I have to harvest through it, right? And takes a lot of it's
Do you usually get
garbage.
good stuff out of a 5-pound bag of junk?
I bought 20-pound bags, let me tell you, as big as 20. You know, it's about half and half, depends on the bag. You know, sometimes it's great, sometimes not so great.
And do you just grow rid of the things that you don't want? You
Absolutely.
decide right then and
Yes.
there,
That's
you're done
right.
with that, and
I
it
got
goes
a lot
away.
of chains. You can't really use a chain, you know, so there's a lot of things. But I harvest all of the beads. I save all of the beads. Every little tidbit, I'll save that, whatever I can to use in my art. So I like to include a variety of time frames. So there's, you know, here's a monogram probably from someone's grandpa, right? Someone's grandpa. Here's a Shopkins from, you know, last year, right? Here's an old cookbook magnet from the early 70s. So there's really quite a mix on my pieces.
So I'm thinking it would be overwhelming. I'm thinking of all this junk.
Yep.
And,
It is
and I
junk.
mean
Yeah.
that in the kindest way
I know,
possible.
I got it.
You got all this junk, and then you got to figure out how to make sense out of it. How do you do that?
Well, I start by organizing it. I have 15 different categories. So I've made the
Okay.
categories up by myself. They're only what makes
There's
sense
no
to
rule
me.
book
There's
for
no
this.
rule.
Uh-huh.
You know, alphabet letters and numbers, like this number 8. I have dice. I get a lot of dice from people.
that's interesting.
My most common object that I get, American flag pins and angel pins, my two most popular items. But I separate into sparkler items, things that glisten and sparkle, animals. And so I organize it all. And then when I'm creating a piece, I take a little bit from every one of those categories because I think that makes the items most interesting.
Okay, so say we're working on an M. I love the letter thing.
Yes.
First, the significance of the letters. Let's talk about that a little
You know,
bit.
I've been in typography my whole life, even since a kid. I mean, in high school and even before that, I took calligraphy classes and just always loved hand lettering. And it's kind of a lost art, actually.
Absolutely. So is writing letters and all of those
exactly.
things. Yes.
You got it. And I've just always loved the beauty of the alphabet. And I started by collecting letters from old signs. Like I have an Old Navy D that I found laying somewhere.
Okay.
So I love letters. I just have always been fascinated. I did some senior thesis items on pieces on letters, just
Okay.
drawings and things. Jasper
Okay.
Johns, you know, I love him. So just it's kind of always been about typography for me.
Now, does it matter what the letter is made of, or do you create the letters, or are these all found letters?
All of the above. I have metal letters. This one's actually metal. I have wooden letters. I send away to a carpenter I work with that cuts letters for me in different jigsaw, different fonts, and different sizes. This is a medium-sized letter. I have gigantic letters. So yeah, it's a lot about the letters.
Okay. Now, do the items on here have anything to do with the letter? Is there a correlation between like M and Oreos?
So M and Oreos, no. But in several of my pieces, I do have other little M's. So here's a little shiny M, and you know there's different ones. Scrabble tiles often make their way in, and every piece is named after something on the piece that starts with that letter. This is M is for Man of Steel. That's what this one is. So whenever you look at the letter and you see the title, it's kind of fun because it's kind of like a Where's
It is.
Waldo type
It is a
thing.
World,
to-
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
Find it in
and
there.
is the thing that you name it after usually the most, like to me, that's so central? Do you
That one
try to-
particularly is. It's not always that
not
way.
always?
Sometimes it's a little more hidden and fun to find. And you know, letters they're interesting. You know, Y is for yacht. You might think, how in the heck did you get a yacht on your letter Y? Well, you have to come see it to find it. So
Okay. Well, maybe you'll hang that at the studio, and we can all come see it.
That's
and
right. It
find
will be at the
Yes,
studio.
Yes. Well, I think it's just amazing.
Thank you.
So, aside from letters, you said you do other.
I do functional pieces as
Okay.
well. So I have a lamp. I've done 2 lamps now. There'll be one at the show as well. I've done a desk. I have mirrors, frames, and trinket boxes, and treasure chest. A
Do
table.
people come to you with "Here's my junk, make something of it"? Have you ever had that experience?
I haven't been commissioned in that way. Usually, I just take a lot of donations. But I'm hoping, you know, with the show, I'll inspire a lot of people.
Okay.
Every piece speaks to somebody, whether it's your initial that you're drawn to initially, no pun intended, or if you're, oh my gosh, my grandma wore those earrings. I remember my dad had one
Right.
just like that. And it really takes people, you know, gives them a bit of nostalgia.
Well, what did I do when I sat down with you? I said, "Oh my God,
That's
we do the
right.
whole Superman thing. We do. There's so much about my family that you've managed to put into your M today."
That's right. So everyone can instantly connect from the initial, you know, from the letter itself, but then again, just find themselves lost. You know, we move really quickly in this world now, right? And I really want my work to kind of draw you in and just stop for a second,
And
right?
it
Just
definitely
take a
does
pause.
that. It definitely
and
does.
just
that. Even
look
the
back.
background, I wanted to just comment. Even the background is just not a normal, everyday piece of solid.
Yep. Every piece is a little different. I have some with glitter in the background. This one has pieces of newspaper, obviously. But yeah, I try and make them interesting and unique so that every letter is truly different.
Wow, I absolutely love it. I think it's so creative.
I'm a sparkly girl by nature, so the more sparkle, the better.
Now, do
So-
you have this all over? Do you hang them on your house? Do you-
I have them hanging in my home. Yes, we utilize the lamp. I have a mirror that we use as well. So yes,
you could
yeah.
do the whole alphabet on your wall.
I
you know.
absolutely could. Couple
Yeah.
bowls of alphabet soup right on the wall. Yeah.
I think it's great.
Thank you. Thanks.
I do want to talk about your other art as well.
Absolutely.
So we're going to take a mini break, and
Yeah.
we're going to swap out the art and then talk about some of your painting as well.
Terrific. Great.
We've switched out our art now, and now we're looking at some painting stuff that you
Yes, correct.
do. What's interesting to me is that the surfaces you work on are very delicate, intricate. I'm not sure what
Textured,
texture.
textured, sure.
So tell me about your process.
Well, this takes me back to more of my classical training roots, right? This is traditional painting, but done in a little bit different way. One thing that I love to do, you can tell in my collage work, and I think it's represented here as well, I love texture and things that, again, make you want to take a closer look, right? So I start by collaging different papers, and if you get close in here, there are strings and tags and mediums that I slop around to give it some texture, and I start by painting a really intricate and unique background. And so there's no image. I just start with the background, knowing what the image will be, and then I sketch it out, and knowing where the key lines are going to end up, I start to paint in a texture again. So here you'll see I've painted in the texture of the rubber with a medium. So again, there's no image yet. I just paint in the texture, knowing that that shoe's going to land right there with a little sketch. And then I start with the darkest color first. I paint the entire thing burnt umber, and I start to lift out from there. So it's layer upon layer upon layer.
Wow.
So it's a very process-driven, similar to the collage,
collages,
actually, which
right,
is very
right.
process-driven, collecting the stuff, laying it out. It's very similar in this piece as well. And I do lots of representational paintings like this. Single subject, again, taking things out of context and trying to get viewers to really connect with what they're looking at. I can't tell you how many people have seen this and said, oh my God, I wore those Chuck Taylors in the 80s.
Exactly.
I had a pair of those.
Exactly, exactly. So like a painting like this,
Yes.
how long does it take? I mean, you're doing many, many steps along the way.
Many steps, and you know, oftentimes it's hard to answer that because oftentimes I'm working on more than one piece at a time. But something like this, probably about 25 hours, I would guess, if I were to add it all together. And it's not a gigantic piece, you know.
No,
so
no.
it is a lot. It's tedious and time-consuming. A lot of stepping away from it to keep, you know, getting your perspective, making sure the shadows and the light are coming together the way you want them to.
And are they most of what you paint are inanimate objects?
Mostly inanimate objects. I have done some people too. I have a series of 3 women from the 60s that I did as well. So, but mostly inanimate objects,
And
yes.
So sneakers. I mean, how do you get to sneakers on this? I'm just so curious what goes
You know,
on.
shoes are, back in school we were taught that shoes, aside from people, shoes are one of the hardest things to paint. Because
Really?
although they aren't alive, they actually do have a life. They carry a life in them, and they have a story to tell. The
They definitely
scuffs,
do.
right? The scuffs and the way that the laces are worn. And so they're very challenging. So I was looking for a challenge, and I said, you know what? I'm going to paint some tennis shoes. I was thinking about my sister. She wore a pair of these, and I said, I'm going to paint those for my sister.
And then just, you know, the up closeness of it, the view of it is just very interesting.
Right.
To me.
I pride myself on unique compositions, trying to really make sure that it's not just a pair of shoes sitting there that's not that interesting. So an interesting crop, again, a fun composition, kind of leads your eye down the piece, carries you throughout, and, you know, again, the swooping lines, it's very aesthetically pleasing. So that's what I try and work into my art.
So what came first, the sneaker idea or the background idea?
The background idea, actually. I was kind of looking for a technique to call my own. And I, again, am very inspired by different artists of the past and silk screeners. I'm a printmaker at heart. And, again, process-driven. And I really wanted to come up with a look where people could look at something and say, oh, that's Daisy. Oh, I know that artist.
That's
right?
Daisy
That's
Dodge,
Daisy.
right.
That's Daisy.
Yeah.
So I started messing around, and you know, one thing leads to another. So much of art is progression, and just working through my career. You know, you asked me how long does something like this take. I should have answered you the way I answer most people, which is 25 hours and in 40 years, right? Because it's my whole life that's kind of gotten me to be able to do this in 25 hours. Is all my previous experiences. So everything kind of builds up and leads you to where you are.
Interesting.
Thank you.
So do you get your inspiration, sneakers, from things around you? Is it in your kitchen? Are you like...
You know, everywhere. It's almost sensory overload every minute of every day. But I'm constantly looking online, just at images. I look at photography. You know, I'll be walking through the house, like you said, and see something and say, that'd be a great thing to do. That's a great idea. So I'll just keep a little running list of items that I want to work on. I have a list of projects to do.
Okay. And you said you do more than one at a time?
Yes.
Do you have to be in a certain mindset? I know I've met artists before who say, I can't paint this when I'm feeling X, or I can only do this when I'm feeling like this. Do you feel that way about it?
Absolutely. And luckily, I have the different disciplines I can hop between. It's a definite different mood to do the collage work than it is to do a painting. You know, again, this takes a lot of concentration. I've got to really tap into it and kind of be feeling it. The collage stuff, you know, I've got it kind of down to a science, so it's a little less about the the noodling, the noodling of the details, etc. But I love to do them both. I do other things as well, so lots of different things.
So right now, how many works would you say you're working on?
Probably 15 things. Yep, about 15. Many of them are wrapping up for the show coming up, but yeah, about 15 things at once. Yeah.
Wow, so we're going to see all new stuff at the show.
You're going to see new things, that's right.
Very exciting.
Thank you.
So aside from painting and collage, I know you kind of drift in and out of other things as well.
That's correct, yes.
I know quilting is one of the things that you do, which just happens to be a favorite of mine.
Oh,
I
great.
love the art of quilting.
Yes, the art of quilting.
And
so.
where does that fit in?
Again, it's just another mood, right? Whatever mood strikes me, but that too is a bunch of piecing little things
Yeah,
together,
I'm seeing a pattern
right?
here.
You're seeing
I'm
a
starting
pattern.
to see a pattern.
So I love to do quilting. I design the quilts, which is the most fun part for me. I don't necessarily pick up a pattern that I find in a book, and if I do, I change it. I got to daisy eyes it a little bit, and I always have a few quilts going as well. I think I have 10 right now in the works. Yep. But I also finish several. I'm very, very prolific in my quilt making.
Okay.
In all my art, actually, I make a lot.
I was going to say,
yes.
and you work full time.
And I
Do you
work
have
full
any
time.
free time? No.
Yeah, my free time I spend here.
This is your free time?
This is my free time, yes. Spend some time with my husband and family, but this is the majority of my free time, yes.
And are you the kind of person who dedicates X amount of hours on a Saturday? This is what I'm doing. This is my job? Or no?
Ideally, I would love to have X amount of hours. I do squeeze every minute out of every day. Even if I can only put in an hour on a Saturday morning with my coffee, I take it. I think, people say, oh my gosh, how do you make all this? How do you do it?
That's what I'm wondering.
How do you do it?
There's only 24 in a day.
That's right.
I mean, no matter
That's
how
right.
you stretch it, you can't make more hours.
No, and you still watched that show on TV last night? Yes, I did. What I say to people, you need to take advantage of every opportunity you have. I think people fall victim. They say, oh, I've only got 40 minutes. I'll just get into it before I'll have to stop.
Right. I'm going to waste 40 minutes. You can waste 40 minutes
You
easily.
can. That's right. I take advantage of the 40 minutes. I say, get in there. Do what you can, and you walk away your 40 minutes ahead.
And I guess if you've got stuff started, you're already moving into a working project.
That's
You're not like
correct.
starting something from scratch.
That's correct.
Yeah.
So that's part of keeping that whole momentum rolling, lots of things in the pipeline.
And you decide when it's done.
That's
Is
right.
that hard for you?
Yes and no. Sometimes on the collage stuff, it's a little easier. On a painting, I'll step away and come in, 5 hours later and say, oh, I got to fix that highlight, or oh, I've got to fix that shadow. So yes, it is harder to quit on a painting, but that's a disease artists have, is overdoing it, right? Overdoing it.
I can't tell you how many artists I've seen. They say, "Yeah, I'm not done yet." I'm like,
Yes,
"You have to be
you
done at
have
some
to be-
point. At some point, you have to say, "Fine, this is perfect."
That's correct. Yep.
Now, I know this has won some awards. I want to talk about some.
Yes.
You've been shown at many galleries in the area.
I have. About 2 years ago, I started showing my work on a national level, and I didn't know what I was doing. I'm still figuring it out, right? But I track different shows. There are lots of opportunities for artists out there if you really take a look at it. So I send my work around the country.
You do without you. It goes.
It goes without me. If I can attend the show, fantastic. If I can't, oh well. But I apply to lots of things. I get into several different shows. I've been in the last 2 years in maybe 60 different shows across the U.S. So I'm really excited about that. Won several awards. It's always nice to be recognized, right?
Well, your stuff is so different. To
Thank
me, it's
you.
just so unique. I've just never seen anything like it.
Thank you. Yeah, this one has won a few awards, so I'm really lucky with it. I think it's the composition, and people just really relate to it. People love their Chuck Taylors.
I know I do. I know I do. So now your art, if people wanted to reach out to you, if they wanted to see what you were doing, do you have a website? Do you put stuff up that's new?
I do,
If you're not showing at my gallery, how do I find you?
Yes, I have a website, www.daisydodgeart.com, and I'm keeping that very current with what I'm working on. I haven't put everything up yet from the gallery, from the studio show. I want to keep it
So
some
exciting,
surprise.
yes.
But you can definitely follow me there and reach out to me and email there as well. And everything about me is there, my exhibitions and my awards and all my work.
Okay, are you showing anywhere else after the gallery? Is there anything else
I
lined
have a
up
few
that you want
shows
to tell
going
us
on
about?
right now. I have a few shows, and I'm waiting to hear on a couple, so fingers crossed. So yeah, I'm part of the National Oil and Acrylic Painters Society, so I was just accepted in a show there. American Women Artists in New York, so I have.
Where's that going to be?
That one I'm waiting to hear on that one, but I
Okay.
am a member of the I'm a member of the group. So also the Westport Artist Collective. I'm part of that too. So I try and stay active as well as a
yeah.
member. I'm also part of a quilting guild. So yeah, lots going on.
Again, only 24 hours.
I
I'm
know.
still not sure how you fit it all
Squeeze the
in.
minutes out.
Suck the life out of
correct.
it, right?
Make the most of every minute.
Wow. Okay. And then animals, things, hiking, biking. What do you do when you're not doing this?
Well, I'm not creating. Wow,
And
I'm
that
usually
20 minutes that
creating.
you
That
have?
20 minutes. So again, I like to travel with my husband. We check out mansions in the area. Love to do that kind of thing. Little
Okay.
weekend trips. We're
Does it
going to.
inspire you? The art?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And we try and hit any kind of creative venue along the way or in the little towns. We're going to Newport, Rhode Island this weekend, for example, just little getaways. I love to do that. So that's really my passion. I'm not an outdoor girl. I'm not a sun baby. My white skin won't let me be. So, but I do love to be indoors or traveling around. Those are my
Now,
two
will you
favorite things.
take pictures of where you are as a remembrance to maybe use it in art later? Do you
For
do
sure, absolutely. And again, I get lots of inspiration from seeing other artists' work. So I'll take pictures of that as well, and then track them on social media and follow their art as well. So
Newport's
lots of
great for
inspiration.
that. There's so many beautiful places to
It
go.
really is. It really is. I'm
Yeah,
excited.
Yeah.
So
So if you were going to, you've sort of settled and you're professional and you're doing so well. If someone asked you how to get there, what would you tell them? How do you get to this?
take chances, take calculated chances, and believe in yourself. I can do it. I really believe that. I can do anything I put my mind to. I really think that, and I think that's a strong foundation for people gaining confidence in themselves and then taking those chances, trying it.
Not just saying it, but really
Yeah,
doing,
but
really doing it.
it. I'll try painting. Maybe it doesn't work out. That's okay. It's part of the process. It's part of the journey.
Kind of like when you bake that pie and you throw it in the garbage.
That's right. It happens, but you get up
Yeah.
and you do it again and you learn from it, right? So I would really just say focus. A strong foundation of education, I think, is also important. Getting those basic skills, getting your drawing skills down. I see a lot of young artists in my profession, and several of them don't have those basics, and it's really disheartening. That they
think
want
they just
it.
go in and do this
That's
without
right.
learning it's kind of
And-
like running before you learn to walk.
Exactly. And I can do it on the computer. Can you draw, though? That really all really comes down to your basic sense of drawing. If these were poorly drawn, you would not be drawn to this painting.
Right,
Right?
right.
So you really need those solid basics and foundation.
Okay. And then
Yes.
as far as the collage, it's something anybody can do. Just want to get back to that. I mean, I'm thinking about my junk drawer right now. As we're talking, I'm thinking I have a junk drawer full of great
You
stuff.
can try it. I'm going to tell you there's some secrets. There are some secrets.
Can you share one or two with us? Maybe?
Part of it is just the organization of it. I think the way that the way I assemble the items on the piece. Again, there's a lot of thought that goes into what the actual items are and the little categorization that I mentioned to you. I do seal them in a resin coating to kind of protect it all. But just the way you piece it all together, you can give it a try. I think everyone's pieces would come out a little bit different. So I like to think there's something special
So instead
in
of
the
a
way I
paint
do
and
it.
sip, we should do a collage and sip.
There you go. That's right.
To try to figure out. It's such a beautiful art form that I think
Thank you.
so many people could take advantage of. Not as well as you do, of course, because
Right.
you're so wonderful at it.
One of my aspirations, actually, one of my dreams for the future is in later years, as I continue to refine this, that perhaps I'll get some sort of public work. So just think of an airport. Think of JFK and
Think of a
gigantic
wall,
JFK,
like a wall
right?
somewhere.
Or a wall in a
Yeah.
subway, or something like that, or some public big fat animal in the in
so
the street
cool.
that's coated in my collage work. So I got that cooking in the back of my mind.
Like when they put what do they put the bulls and the
the bulls, right? The cows. They've done the cows.
Yeah,
and-
yeah.
something like that, or even bigger. I'm thinking bigger.
Thinking
So,
bigger,
yeah.
huh? The side of an
Thinking big.
airplane, maybe. I don't know. Probably ruin the aerodynamics, though.
Those are my goals.
I think that they're lofty, but you'll probably achieve
I think I
them
can do
because
it.
I feel like you
I
can do
can do
anything
it.
you set
That's
your mind to. I do.
Hopefully, a
do.
little luck wouldn't hurt, but yes.
I don't know if luck has anything to do with it. I think it's all about the talent, and you have it in abundance.
Thank you. Thanks
Yeah.
very much. I love what I do. I love what I do.
I
Not
can
enough
tell.
hours to create what I have in my mind to create.
I can tell. I
Thank
think
you.
that's what makes it so powerful. Is your excitement comes off your pieces.
Thank
You
you.
know, I can tell that you love what you do.
I really, really do. Yeah. If I could just do this all day, every day, I still wouldn't have enough time to get it all out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, so we have to look forward to at the studio both art and
Yes.
collage. I'm sorry, painting and collage.
Correct. Yes.
Anything else we're going to see there?
Not going to see anything else there. I do
Okay.
do some stained glass windows on the side as well.
Of course you do.
Tiffany style. Right, anything that's process driven. That's
Process-driven.
another one, right? So I do that as well,
Uh-huh.
which I love. Again, anything that's little pieces brought together to make something greater.
Okay.
So I do that, but that won't be at the show. It'll be all in my
Okay.
collage and my paintings.
Okay, so we are going to have Daisy at the studio around the corner, opening up on
June 2nd?
June 2nd at 7 o'clock.
Yes.
Please come. She'll be there all month with sharing her wonderful gifts with us. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
I am too. I really am.
And I think it's going to be a fantastic show. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thanks
And,
for having me.
Yeah, and we'll all see you at the studio around the corner.
All right,
Thank you.
great. Thanks.